Okay, so we start. All right, so in the last class, we were talking about the chapter 2 of which title? Title 3, high risk AI systems. We are talking about the requirements for high risk AI systems. So we had already talked about article 8, 9, 10 and 11, right? Article 11 refers to annexure 4 and we had seen that as well. Now coming to article 12. So there was a post somewhere on LinkedIn from a member of parliament in EU, and she wrote that the section numbers have at least not changed for articles until 15. Yes, okay. So hopefully, I mean, after that article numbers will change, but hopefully they will indeed remain the same until article 15. So we can by heart these things by article numbers as well if we wish so, not required though. All right, so article 12, record keeping. So article 12 talks about automatic logs. High risk AI systems shall technically allow for the automatic recording of events over the duration of the lifetime of the system. So you have to do the automatic recording of events. High risk system shall technically allow. Okay. Now who will actually do this? See, most of the burden is on whom? The providers. Okay. In order to ensure a level of traceability, and logs have to be collected during the lifetime of the system. Now, in order to ensure a level of traceability of the AI system's functioning that is appropriate to the intended purpose of the system, logging capability shall enable the recording of events relevant for so it says logging capability shall enable. Now we have to understand this. So a high risk AI systems, what is this first part saying? What is, how do we understand this one? How do we understand this one? What does it mean? How many of you are not formally registered in the course? Okay. So we were talking about article 12, which is record keeping. My question is, what is this first para? What does this first para mean? So it says high risk AI system shall technically allow for the automatic recording of events, logs over the duration of lifetime of the system. So high risk AI system shall technically allow for automatic. So shall means whenever you see shall in a technical, I mean in a legal text, it basically means it is mandatory. Okay. So for high risk AI systems, it is mandatory that they should allow for automatic recording of events during the lifetime of the AI system. Now, in order to ensure a level of traceability of AI systems functioning that is appropriate to the intended purpose of the system, logging capability shall enable recording of events relevant for. Paragraph 1 says all high risk AI systems should enable logs. Now it makes them much more specific. So it says logging capabilities shall enable the recording of events relevant for identification of situations that may result in AI systems presenting a risk within the meaning of Article 65(1). So Article 65(1) basically talks about those AI systems that present a risk at the national level. So if you are trying to design something that presents a risk at the national level as per Article 65(1), then it is mandatory to record such events. Facilitation of the post-market monitoring referred to in Article 61. Now, Article 61 talks about post-market monitoring by providers and post-market monitoring plan for high-risk AI systems. So, basically, what was the purpose of this post-market monitoring? So, how AI is behaving in once it is placed on the market. Okay, so that is the high level idea. Now you have to allow for, so the purpose of this article is high risk AI system should allow for logs. So one case was this, another case is you should facilitate the post market monitoring. Okay, so for that also you should enable logs. Monitoring of the operation of high risk AI systems referred to in Article 29(4). Now Article 29 is obligation of deployers for high risk AI system. Okay. So basically you have to log everything, and these are those particular situations given to you where you just can't escape. For high risk AI systems referred to in paragraph 1, not this one, but point A of annexure 3, which is remote biometric identification system, the logging capability shall provide at a minimum. So what was the first paragraph telling me here? First one says all high risk AI systems should log, right? And now they are making things specific. So for example, in this part they say for high risk AI systems referred to in paragraph 1, point A of annexure 3. What was annexure 3? Annexure 3 was this big list of high risk AI systems that we had seen. Okay. So paragraph 1 was biometrics in general. Point 1 was remote biometric identification system. Okay. The logging capability shall provide at a minimum. So this is high risk. One thing is, you being the provider, go and decide what should you log. But here law itself is telling you these are the things that should be logged. So recording of the period of each use of the system. So whenever you invoke remote biometric identification system, you have to log the each use, start date, time, end date and time of each use. The reference database against which input data has been checked by the system. Why is this reference database important? Reference database for what, by the way? No. What is this remote biometric identification system? When you are trying to identify a person remotely. So if I am here, if I want to enter this gate, and if there is a biometric identification system here to decide whether I should be allowed to enter or not, that's a different thing. I am directly involved. In remote biometric identification system, the user is not directly involved and has no idea what is going on with his face, for example. So it says if this is the application, then it must record these things. the reference database against which the input data has been checked by the system, the input data for which the search has led to a match, the identification of the natural persons involved in the verification of the results as referred to in article 14(5). We will see that. So, what is it emphasizing? Just that. So, what does this whole article, what is the message? So, you have to log everything. So, first paragraph comes and says you have to log everything. What are the rest of the paragraphs detailing? They are detailing the specifics where you can't escape, so where you must do these things. Right? In others, maybe you can decide what is it that you should log, what is it that you should not log, right? So, that was the bigger purview, but in this case, the law itself says these are the things you are supposed to record, okay? Article 13, so transparency and provision of information to deployers. And information to deployers here is the key actually. So, the operation of AI system should be sufficiently transparent to deployers. High risk AI systems shall be designed and developed in such a way to ensure that their operation is sufficiently transparent to enable deployers to interpret the system's output and use it appropriately. An appropriate type and degree of transparency shall be ensured with a view to achieving compliance with the relevant obligations of the provider and deployer set out in chapter 3 of this title. What is chapter 3 of this title? Which chapter are we currently doing? Which chapter are we currently doing? Sorry? High risk AI was title 3. Okay. What is chapter 3 of this title? So good one. Requirement is chapter 2, chapter 3 we are yet to see. Okay. So that comes later after this. All this paragraph is saying is high risk AI system should be designed and developed in a way such that the system should be sufficiently transparent to deployers. Those who are deploying the AI, they should be able to have a good degree of understanding what the system is outputting, okay, and how to use it. High risk AI systems shall be accompanied by instruction for use, which is provided in article 315. And instructions for use, we already know every box comes with a instruction for use, but in this case even high risk AI system has to be accompanied with the instruction of use. Okay. In an appropriate digital format or otherwise that include concise, complete, correct and clear information that is relevant, accessible and comprehensible to users. What is the purpose of this article? What is the purpose of this article? Transparency and information to deployers. So providers should design and develop a system in such a way that it is transparent for deployers to understand what actually this AI is doing and how to use it. So this is what this first paragraph says. Second paragraph says shall be accompanied by an instruction for use. So no high risk AI can be released without instruction for use in an appropriate digital. So it's not that if, so high risk AI system will not come in a box like this, of course, right? It's not a hardware. So appropriate digital format or otherwise. So if you want to send a hard copy, that's also okay, but appropriate digital or otherwise that includes concise, complete, correct and clear information that is relevant, accessible and comprehensible to users. The instructions for use shall contain at least the following information: the identity and contact details of the, so first one says it should be transparent and easy to use for deployers. This part says instructions for use must be there, and now we are coming to what are the contents of this instructions for use: identity and the contact details of the provider and where applicable of its authorized representative, the characteristics, capabilities and limitations of performance of the high risk AI system including its intended purpose, the level of accuracy including its metrics, robustness and cyber security referred to in article 15 that we will do, against which the high risk AI system has been tested and validated, and which can be expected, and any known and foreseeable circumstances that may have an impact on that expected level of accuracy, robustness and cyber security. I don't understand this. I mean, I don't understand what does this mean for a computer scientist, for a developer who is developing a system, because no developer will, so there are already testing teams, no developer will develop it in a manner that according to them does not have an expected level of accuracy, robustness and cyber security. What are the exact requirements? I think they are missing here, but the idea is, so we'll talk maybe more about it when we go to article 15, but all I will do is I'll just state the same thing about this vagueness. Any known or foreseeable circumstances related to the use of high risk AI system in accordance with its intended purpose or under conditions of reasonably foreseeable misuse which may lead to risk to the health and safety of fundamental rights referred to in article 9(2). What was article 9? What was article 6? High risk AI systems. Then 7 was amendment. Then 8 was the first article of chapter 2 that mentions about the compliance with AI systems. 9 was this risk management system. So risk management system para 2 was what? Remember that known and foreseeable risk, emerging and, so emerging, the risk that might emerge and misuse. So these two are in the future. Then the C was looking at the past. So whatever data has been collected, looking into that, right? You try to see all the risk. So known and foreseeable circumstances related to the use of high risk AI system in accordance with its intended purpose or under conditions of reasonably foreseeable misuse, these are the things coming from article 9(2), which may lead to risks to the health and safety or fundamental rights referred to in article 9(2). But what are we talking about here? So instructions of use shall contain all these things. One was the details of provider, second was characteristics, capabilities and limitations of performance, including. So we are talking about characteristics, capabilities and limitations of performance, including these things. Where applicable, the technical capabilities and characteristics of the AI system to provide information that is relevant to explain its output. Now neural networks, they are criticized. So this particular line of machine learning. So neural networks are known that they are not explainable at all. You take an input, they give you an output, they are very good at mapping input to output, but they are not at all explainable. So where is this going? Where are you supposed to write all this? They are part of instructions of use. So where applicable, the technical capabilities and characteristics of the AI system to provide information that is relevant to explain its output. When appropriate, its performance regarding specific persons or groups of persons on which the system is intended to be used. When appropriate, specifications for the input data or any other relevant information in terms of training, validation and testing data sets used, taking into account the intended purpose of the AI system. So all these things you are supposed to mention in the instructions for use. Where applicable, information to enable deployers to interpret the system's output and its use appropriately. The changes to the high-risk system and its performance, which have been predetermined by the provider at the moment of the initial conformity assessment, if any. I think this is not updated. Okay, anyway. So conformity assessment is defined in article, I think 320, and there is a separate article for it, article 43. So let us first talk about what is conformity assessment. Okay. So the changes to the high-risk AI system and its performance, which have been predetermined by the provider at the moment of initial conformity assessment, if any. What might this mean? So let me first tell you the meaning of conformity assessment. So the right, but this will become more concrete after understanding what is conformity assessment. So conformity assessment means the process of demonstrating whether the requirements set out in Title 2, Chapter 2 of this regulation relating to high-risk AI systems have been fulfilled. What is Title 3, Chapter 2? This you know now. This you know. Title 3 is high risk. Chapter 2 is the one that we are doing right now, which is the requirements. So conformity assessment means the process of demonstrating whether the requirements set out in this chapter, Article 8 to 15 of this regulation relating to high risk have been fulfilled. So that is conformity assessment. Okay. Now So now we understand what is conformity assessment. The changes to the high risk AI system and its performance, which have been predetermined by the provider at the moment of the initial conformity assessment, if any. So, initially you had said that whatever my AI is, it is in so conformity assessment has been done and everything is okay. If you make any changes to that, you have to mention that. But those changes must be predetermined. It is not that you change something on the fly. So, you said my high risk AI was okay with this, later you go and change it, that is not allowed. Basically, this says you must write down, but I mean you must put it in instruction of use. But what is it that you are allowed to do? Only those changes that have been predetermined by the provider, not anything. The human oversight measures referred to in Article 14 that we will see next, including the technical measures put in place to facilitate the interpretation of the outputs of AI systems by the deployers. Basically, human oversight has to be there. The computational and hardware resources needed, the expected lifetime of the high risk AI system, and any necessary maintenance and care measures, including their frequency, to ensure the proper functioning of that AI system, including as regards to software updates. So, all these things has to go where? Which list? Instructions for use. And where relevant, a description of mechanisms included within the AI system that allows users to properly collect, store and interpret the logs in accordance with Article 12. Article 14 now, human oversight. What this article might be saying? What might be there in this article now? Right. Right. So, if you are, so high risk AI, you just can't say you will do it like that. There has to be some kind of human oversight. What is that AI doing? So, paragraph 1 says, effectively overseeing during its period of use. High risk AI systems shall again be designed and developed in such a way, including with appropriate human machine interface tools, that they can be effectively overseen by natural persons during the period in which AI system is in use. So, a human oversight has to be there and they have to be designed and developed in such a way that it allows human oversight. And human oversight is to minimize the risk to health, safety and fundamental rights. Okay, that is what this says. The oversight measures shall be in proportion to the risk level of autonomy and context of use of the AI system and shall be ensured through either one or all of the following type of measures. Okay. Let me not go into the details. All it says, the human oversight has to be in proportion to the risk and level of autonomy and context of the use of AI system. Now, for the purpose of implementing paragraphs 1 to 3, the high risk AI system shall be provided to the user in such a way that natural persons to whom oversight is assigned are enabled as appropriate and proportionate to the circumstances. So, the person who is doing this oversight should be capable of understanding AI, right. So, this is what this part says. The person the natural person to whom oversight is assigned are enabled as appropriate and appropriate to the circumstances to do what? To properly understand the relevant capacities and limitations of the high risk AI system and be able to duly monitor its operation, also in view of detecting and addressing anomalies, dysfunctions and unexpected performances. Those humans should also be aware of automation bias. What is automation bias? To remain aware of the possible tendency of automatically relying or over relying on the output produced by the high risk AI system. In particular, for high risk AI system used to provide information or recommendations for decisions to be taken by natural persons. To correctly interpret the high risk AI systems output, taking into account, for example, the interpretation tools and methods available. What are we listing here? So the person who is assigned this task of oversight, they should be knowledgeable in these respects, right? So to properly understand, remain aware of automation bias, to correctly interpret the high risk AI systems output, to decide in any particular situation not to use high risk AI system or otherwise disregard, override or reverse the output of the high risk AI system, to intervene on the operation of AI high risk AI system or interrupt the system through a stop button or a similar procedure that allows the system to come to halt in a safe state. What does this mean? I don't know. No, my point is, what does this thing mean, stop button? It's not a big machine that is running and you push that button and everything comes at a halt. So something, it should be like that, wow. So something that you have placed on the market, people are using it. Now how do you press this stop button? Should be. How do you do this? Right, so, and what did he say? So for high risk AI systems referred to in point 1A of annexure 3, which is the remote biometric identification system, the measures referred to in paragraph 3. Which paragraph 3? Go back. Paragraph 3, okay? Shall be such as to ensure that in addition no action or decision is taken by the deployer on the basis of the identification resulting from the systems unless this has been separately verified and confirmed by at least 2 natural persons with the necessary competence and training and authority. So what does this mean now? No action or decision, so start from here. No action or decision is taken by the deployer, right? So not by the provider, but by the deployer on the basis of identification resulting from the system unless this has been separately verified and confirmed by at least 2 natural persons. So what is this applicable for, this part? This is just applicable to the remote biometric identification system. So your system has identified something, fine, but this has to be separately verified and confirmed by at least 2 natural persons with the necessary competence and training and authority. Okay. And these are exceptions to these more opinions. So, the requirement for a separate verification by at least 2 natural persons shall not apply to high risk AI systems used for the purpose of law enforcement, migration and border control or asylum in cases where union or national law considers that the application of this requirement is to be is basically disproportionate. So, Article 15. Accuracy, robustness and cyber security. I think this is the most vague article in this whole legislation. So, the high risk AI system shall be designed and developed in such a way that they achieve an appropriate level of accuracy, robustness and cyber security and perform consistently in those respects throughout their life cycle. All of computer science, all software companies, they are covered in just these 3 lines. So, high risk AI system shall be designed and developed in such a way that they achieve an appropriate level of accuracy, robustness and cyber security and perform consistently in those respects throughout their life cycle. Everybody wants to do this, but if you want to list what are the requirements, I don't think we will be able to make that list. To address the technical aspects of how to measure the appropriate levels of accuracy and robustness set out in paragraph 1 of this article and any other relevant performance metrics, the Commission shall in cooperation, so here basically they take away all the breathing space from software companies, because this may mean what this covers everything. So, in second paragraph they say the Commission needs to develop benchmarks and measurement and methodologies. So, first they say something like a complete thing and then say to address the technical aspects of how to measure the appropriate levels of accuracy and robustness set out in paragraph 1 and any other relevant performance metrics, the Commission, the European Commission shall in cooperation with the relevant stakeholders and organizations such as metrology and benchmarking authorities encourage as appropriate the development of benchmarks and measurement methodologies. The level of accuracy and the relevant accuracy metrics of high risk AI systems shall be declared in the accompanying instructions of use that we have seen before. So, not much is left. High risk AI system shall be resilient as possible regarding errors, faults or inconsistencies that may occur within the system or the environment in which the system operates, in particular due to their interaction with natural persons or other systems. Technical and organizational measures shall be taken towards this regard. Okay. Robustness of high risk AI system may be achieved through technical redundancy solutions, which may include backup or fail-safe plans. What does this mean? This first line until here. So, shall be as resilient as possible. What is resilient?
Like we use jailbreaker prompts with ChatGPT, it should not give out information with.
Right. More? एक भी क्लास इस बंदे ने अटेंड नहीं करी है। So it should not, it should be very robust, right?
Not hallucinate.
Huh?
Not hallucinate.
So you are talking about that one particular example like LLMs. But resilience in general means if some error, fault or inconsistencies are going on, so I should be able to correct myself such that I don't suffer from these. I should be able to, come out of these problems as soon as I can. That may occur within the system or the environment in which the system operates, in particular due to their interaction with natural persons or other systems. So technical and organizational measures shall be taken towards this regard. The robustness of high-risk AI systems may be achieved through technical redundancy solutions, which may include backup or fail-safe plans. I mean, this article doesn't look like a legal text. High-risk AI systems that continue to learn after being placed on the market. Now, this is important. So, high-risk AI systems that continue to learn after being placed on the market or put into service shall be developed in such a way to eliminate or reduce as far as possible the risk of possibly biased outputs influencing input for future operations are duly addressed with appropriate mitigation measures. What might this mean? So when you place something on the market, right, it is fine, but it ends up learning. So remember Alexa abusing? Anybody knows about that news? So Alexa started abusing, right? Because it learned from the household. So when you put it on the, when you placed it on the market, the things were fine, but it continued to learn. So what should happen? Duly addressed and appropriate mitigation measures in such cases. So high-risk AI systems shall be resilient as regards to attempts by unauthorized third parties to alter their use, output or performance by exploiting the system vulnerabilities. This can kill any company, right? Because you are trying to make a software work. Now you should also talk about, so high-risk AI systems shall be resilient as regards to system by unauthorized third parties to alter their use, outputs or performance by exploiting the system vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities is something that you get to know after the system is placed on the market. Now, the technical solutions aimed at ensuring the cybersecurity of high-risk AI systems shall be appropriate to the relevant circumstances and the risks. The technical solutions to address AI-specific vulnerabilities shall include, where appropriate, now this is the next level, shall include where appropriate measures to prevent, detect, respond to, resolve and control for attacks trying to manipulate the training data set or pre-trained components used in training, inputs designed to cause the model to make a mistake, confidentiality attacks on model flaws. This I am pretty sure is just an emerging area for research, and they want companies to adhere to these guidelines. So I think this article is too much to ask for, okay? And so chapter 3 is obligation of providers and deployers of high risk AI systems and other parties, that we won't do in this class, okay? So we'll start the next class from S, and I think I'll complete this chapter 3 in just one lecture. So I think that is it for today's class.